Hope we are ready to start. Everyone took their seats, and on our agenda we have some changes. Oksana Sergeyevna won't be with us today. She is really sorry, but she has the budgeting process, and now she is acting minister. So, of course, she is with us, but physically she is not able now to join us. And I would like to ask speakers who are going to speak about the joint work with the Ministry of Finance. Please speak more about it because she won't be able. And also we have simultaneous translation now at the moment. That's why please don't be in a hurry. So our agenda is first, we provide opportunity to speak to the representatives of the ministries and governmental bodies. Then we will give the floor to civil society, and they will provide their view. We hope for constructive dialogue. We would like to hear about the plans and prospects of the development of this area, the area of open data in Ukraine, area of transparency in information and e-governance, and other areas. For the start, I give the floor to Maxim Nefedov, because Oksana Sergeyevna is not with us now. So I ask Maxim to tell us about the achievements of the ministry on the way of transparency, and also about the plans and joint projects outside the ministry in this respect. You are welcome. You are given the floor. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here. The anniversary of e-data project that I believe is one of the best examples of open data representation. This is not only just will of the public just to provide some data on the internet. This is openness of information that is the key instrument on the way of reforming the country. This is one of the things that can be done really quickly and that yields quick results. Openness of information helps to fight the asymmetry. If we are speaking in economic terms, the asymmetry of information results in some rent. The official or businessman who knows that somewhere something is leased or sold and the other person do not know. In this way, the competition is distorted and there are less contestants and the prices are worse and the results worse, and we as taxpayers, we all lose and create the opportunity for corruption, because if there is a symmetry of information, there is some sort of a prize you can share with someone, and so on and so forth. That's why any actions directed to reduce this asymmetry of information that are directed to transparency and increase of efficiency, they influence economic progress. Moreover, these are things that can be done really quickly. In order to reform healthcare, you need to build new, better hospitals. They can't be built in a month or a year or even in several years. And what concerns openness of information, you can change this faster. We as the Ministry of Economy greet all these actions because they raise the efficiency of use of resources. There are classic SOTO works. On the example of housing market, displays information how the assets, some material valuables are transformed in what creates profit that increases the quality of life. And if you know that somewhere there is a premise that is not used. You can put a shop there and it creates employment. So these are not slums, and people start to be active in the region. So this is a valuable contribution into fighting corruption and also to economic growth. And I won't take much time speaking about our projects. Figures show that IT decisions that are easily implemented, they yield results in billion or even tens of billion hryvnias. Prozoro and Prozoro Prodaj procurement. So other things maybe that are not so well known, but they yield good results. So the simple things that we require from the state companies that are in the sphere of the Ministry of to provide information about their facility and the possibility of lease. This is a real step in fighting corruption that can be done by us, not by law enforcement bodies. We cannot punish them, but we can reduce the asymmetry of information in cases when someone tries to do something covert or overt and get some profit. And that's why I address to pay attention to this direction and actively use all gains that we've made. And I am really pleased that these areas of open data project, they start to merge, and I'm pleased that we ended the first phase of integration with eData, and now we can through a service provided by incubator, we can see the full range of scale, starting from entering the information until the final payment. So we started this work, and we will do this integration with Treasury, and there will be more open information, and we can analyze the information by big data methods maybe. Of course, there are many things that should be done. We are speaking about some models or mathematic statistics, but we get millions of different sets of data, and you can get additional and very important and interesting information. People like to fight corruption on the example of some scandals with procurement of mobs or bikes, motorbikes. It attracts the media, but saying statistically, it influences less. If we are speaking about some separate tender, we have several thousand tenders, so statistically these cases are not important. But more important is that we can trace the distribution of payments and tenders, and there are everyone understands that this distribution, there should be some sort of curve, and all the payments of somebody should be minus or plus 10 or 12 days from the day of the tender, or someone is paid for 7 or 15. There is normal distribution, but we have bodies that have the distribution in the V form. So there is a group of suppliers to whom they pay quickly, and others whom they pay with delay. So there are many. It raises concern. And open data and the opportunity of the integration and analysis, it provides opportunity to fight corruption and inefficiency statistically. And the effect from this mathematical research can be not very well understood from the first glance, but it really costs millions and billions. And using this opportunity, I would like to greet the team of eData with the anniversary, and we really support them, and we are grateful that we are their partners, and we hope that we will have future fruitful cooperation. Thank you, Maxim. In your speech, you've mentioned Treasury of Ukraine, and we remember that a year ago, on the 15th of September, Data.gov.ua started the work of launching an transaction of state treasury information, and there are many different, and the users were able to see through our portal transactions of state treasury, and Maxim told us that a lot have been done by state treasury, and without the information that is provided by state treasury, it would be really problematic to merge these services. That's why we are very interested in the development of this area, and I give the floor to the next speaker. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for this invitation, and I'm glad to represent State Treasury during this roundtable. I would like to focus on the previous year with what we started. So, for Treasury of the transactions of the budgetary project, both we have a lot of data about the whole budget process, and this information was available to law enforcers on request. They could get this information from the Treasury in the amount that is provided in our legislation. Also, the information provided to the public increases the quality, and Ms. Fedov told us about it already, and the Treasury joined the work, and together with the ministry work in this area. So we had time limits, and the project is not so simple, speaking about software. State Treasury has three-level IT structure, and each oblast treasury has the level, is at the special level, and we first had to carry out a lot of work to prepare the data that will be made public. All the clients of the Treasury use the right that is provided by the Treasury, and the documents are prepared in a certain way, and the spirit of this work, of these several weeks of work, that it was something. It was drive. We had drive. E-data and the ministry finance team and the Treasury team, we were motivated and inspired, and we made it in a limited time. These were 2 weeks, so we didn't have any weekends and sleepless nights. We had to do a lot of work, and I would like to note that the provision that regulate the publication is dated on as of 14th of September, and on the 5th everyone could see information the next day. So the work that has been implemented, I characterize it as like this. So we provided the clients with the right of, so they are responsible for the quality of data they provide, and also there is data that is state secret or concerning personal data of the physical persons that should be excluded from this. And the software was provided and tested for our clients, and the process of adaptation started of the system of the Treasury, and we will understand what data should be provided. And at the scheme, you see that from all territorial bodies of the Treasury and central body, we published the information, and all the data was gathered from all around Ukraine, from all, without exception, transactions that were made in our territorial bodies of the Treasury, and we built a service of integration of data with the Ministry of Finance. And it should be noted that teamwork that I focused on, that was something. These were incredible feelings when you call Sholakov, head of project, and we discuss and reach results. Thus, from our storage facility through integration service, the data that should be made public, they go to e-data portal, and it should be noted that a lot of work has been done by e-data team. They built in a limited time the service that allows easy navigation, search, and interface, and they support and develop it. Also, there was information campaign with the distributors of budget holders and spending units. And also, they were concerned about their data, and we said that everything will be okay. Everything will be done in accordance with the law. And briefly speaking, I described the story that happened. As to the plans, yes, they are gigantic, and I would like to inform that now we actively cooperate with the Ministry of Economic Development and the Ministry of Finance on the integration of Prozora database and the treasury system, and we had some meetings, and we now regulate these issues, and our development will look like this. The contracts that are concluded through Prozora tenders, and they will be published, and they will be brought to treasury storage, and then scanned and ID code. The client will undertake the obligation, and that would be done in automatic mode, and they will be merged in the system, and under the contract the budget holder will bring the documents, and our system will automatically merge these documents, and after the acts and invoices will be done, clients bring payment documents, and the transactions that are made public, they will be connected to the acts of work done with the legal obligations such as contract and ID contract. So all this network, we plan to provide this information to e-data in such merged view, and you understand that in this way we will improve the quality of this data and its logic unit. So this is the direction we develop, and in some time, till the next of this year, we will reach this success and will tell you about it. Thank you, and I have one question. Will this integration add the work to the budget holders and accountants, because we really feel that it's difficult for them to enter a lot of data manually? So should they complete some other forms? So this integration process will make the lives of these holders easy, and it will be easy for people to work with the system. If they provide information to Prozora, they download scanned contract with the electronic signature. This contract should not be brought to the this contract will be legally binding contract for payment, and after the changes will be introduced to the legislation that electronic copy is enough. it will be easier for the budget holder to deal with the system. We will do all these processes automatically, and we can transfer it through e-data portal. As to additional codes, no, the system will be built in a way where ID contracts will meet in our system with the data that is brought for registration. That is why that won't be any additional load on our users. I would like to give the floor to Unity Bars company that cooperated closely with the Treasury on creating this code, and they cooperated with data, and now they work on the integration with the Treasury. And I would like to ask you, is it really easy to do this, and will the system work till the end of this year?
Andriy Sukhov, Unity Bars Company, thank you for inviting us here. And I support Alexander Evgenievich fully, and other speakers as well, that the atmosphere in the project was very constructive and very intensive work, and the work was fruitful and very fast. We completed very complicated tasks, and answering your question, I can say that during 1 year we achieved a very good result, architecturally well-designed software system, and after 1 year we can say that our decisions, our solutions, they are very good ones. And talking about the perspective which Alexander Evgenievich told about, yes, by the end of the year it is planned to complete a large project of inter-system integration between 3 systems of Treasury Service, Prozora, and e-data portal, and this project envisages transfer of original documents by spending units between these 3 systems. I think that this would improve transparency of the entire system of state finance and will improve the work of the spending units themselves. And I would like to thank the project team, because without so motivated team it would have been very hard to do. And now I would give the floor to the project manager Alexander Sholokov to tell us at which stage we are currently. Our project is at the moment. I know that he knows our future plans very well. You are welcome. Yes, Oksana Sergeyevna, the acting Minister of Finance, she gathered us 1 year ago when we were very short of time and no resources for creating such a portal, but we would like to thank Ms. Makarova and Mr. Grubian, Max Nefedov, who are not afraid of taking responsibility. This is very important in our time, because old rules or standards of 1976, they should be changed in our time. It is very important to understand what we are doing. The e-data portal is an open data database, open data, just purely open data project. What is the difference between public and open data? Public data are made transparent by the law, and open data, they are made open just without any reasons. I can just make some photos in the urban area or country area and then publish them there. Metadata, they are data about data, a very important component in the segment of open data, because people should understand what the database contains, how to use it, how to download it, what they can do with this data. And the elephant is the most, the sweetest benefits. Who has big data, this person or entity can have all the profits. So the systems in a big data segment, they have very high perspectives, very good chances. The portal is oriented to international standards. The operation of portal is 24 hours, 7 days a week. Data can be downloaded or received by API, and they are received from Ministry of Finance, State Treasury and spending units. All those parameters, they are requirements of international community. As soon as we sign the charter with the European Union, we will be for open data. Many people use this database already, the MS Media, and two boards have already, and many NGOs. All those resources you can see on the screen, they get integrated and they use data as more electronic resources appear every day. Then it is harder, more and more hard to get to understand where to find the right information. So integration, joint project, they are most important. When we go to Droshkivka, Gorokhev, we talk about our projects, and then we come back and work online. But the quality of data is very dubious. We have conducted research whether corruption is a component which defines the life of Ukrainians or any other nation, and only 2% of the planet of Earth can live with the acceptable corruption level. All the 98% of the planet live at the level of corruption which is unacceptable, like Ukraine. So combating corruption, this is not very promising scene. So we should seek how to find solutions. We do not try to fight corruption, but we just open data. And civil society, the public on the grassroots will decide what to do with this data and how to combat corruption. Those people who live with perceptible and acceptable level of corruption, their happiness level is 3.5% higher. Their duration of life is higher as well. This funny biker symbol representative of the free nation, he demonstrates that not everything is good. 5 parameters restricts development of open data. The first is access or API access to registers or databases. As soon as we have API, many questions will be addressed. Some registers, they are updated once a quarter, once a day, when you can see that the updates have not been downloaded, and also the data can be not reliable. You can see that the quantities differ. The data sometimes are informal. For example, civil society can put some data into the internet. We can't use them because these data are informal. The data should be compiled by official entities, but they work very slowly. Then unstandardized data. This means that even the order of some data differ. For example, addresses differ. For example, the university, National University after Shevchenko, has 64 different types of writing its title. This is very hard to work with such data. When I work in Microsoft Office, I saw how Denis Gursky is making smoothie. Denis told us that you take different data, open data, mix them, and you get higher quality product. We are sure also that the open data is one component, and services at open data are very important. Not everyone knows what is assignments, locations, so you should just be able to use your telephone set or your PC, notebook. Now you can see that eData have become the largest open database in Ukraine. Peak loads are over 1,000 users simultaneously. We increase the number of our servers. 30 million transactions were made open, were made public at our database. They are from the Treasury of Ukraine, and 9 million contracts. This is the other revolutionary component of the portal. The transactions of Treasury, when they were made open, this was the revolution because not every European country opened transactions of the Treasury, and decision to open contracts between budget holders and state and companies and utilities. This is another revolution. The integration of Prozoro and Treasury and the API to this contract will make very transparent this public procurement sector. This map you can see those who registered the most of transactions. You can see now also 12 temporary commissions. 54% were registered, organizations were registered. So don't blame budget holders, they are doing their best, and people even in the villages, they have not been provided PCs and the internet so that they can make the data open. Nothing have happened during the year. And thanks to Prozora for being flagman of integration, pioneer in computerization. People didn't receive any new hardware and software. The worst situation is observed with the registration of state-owned enterprises, but there is very good pilot case in Volyn region. The Volyn region was at the bottom of the rating with registration of entities, state-owned enterprises at our open data website, but after the pilot project they moved up by 10 points in the rating. So no passive moods should be present. Just give us the opportunity to hold some workshops, to deliver trainings to budget holders. As soon as we conduct training sessions for the budget holders, they will register and provide data, making them open. So it is very actual figure to achieve 80 to 90% registration of all budget holders. There are some state-owned enterprises which put 15,000 documents, but the Ministry of Education and Science made only 5 documents open. The difference is very vivid. The Ministry of Defense put 23,321 documents open at the open data portal. So some ministries and agencies are very enthusiastic, and some of them do not work hard opening their documents. Here you can see that 475 cities and towns enter our portal. There are also BOTs from USA, from Malaysia, but we are ready to DOS attacks as concern Ukraine. The most active users are Kiev, Lviv, Zaporizhia, Kharkiv, and it is very important that the accent has shifted. Not only budget holders now enter this portal, 50% now members of civil society. So both the fillers, the budget holders who provide inputs, they enter our portal, and the users, 50%. A small comment I would like to explain very important thing. Alexander told about formal sources of data. With the United States Register of Enterprises, this case is very important. Why? This data does not fit state servers. They are provided with a delay. They are downloaded. You can see that the state registrar can use data received with a delay, a 1-day delay or 5 hours delay. Then he can register in the state system very strange things. we try to create systems which simplify their work, which makes it easy and streamline activities so that we can avoid paperwork. In the context of Treasury Service, the goal of integration is so that the documents get formal status and become the base for some deals. Thank you, Maxim, for your comment. And now I would like to give the word to Dmitro Makovsky, representing the State Agency on E-Government. He will tell us about the roadmap on e-government in Ukraine. The Ministry of Economic Development, Ministry of Infrastructure, Ministry of Finance, all of them are stakeholders. What achievements are already present and what are the next steps and perspectives?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here at this round table. I'm glad to greet my colleagues who think alike with their professional holiday, and also I am happy to be a part of the open data community. I would like to state that open data is not only a concept and strategy. This is, first of all, modern wave of development of electronic society, and we believe that it is so in our agency. And this will provide changes to our daily life starting from April this year. First 3-year national contest Open Data Challenge started that has its aim to promote and support the projects on open data. And tomorrow we plan to award first winners. Each week the agency, together with the public, carry out workshops in the framework of which they discuss how to use visualization of data, geodata, data, and what are the modern trends in the world and in Ukraine, the ideas, the projects, and at local and national level they carry out popularization of open data. As of today, they actively register at single open data portal, and as of today it is about 780 information holders, and also they discussed the issues of adhering to Open Data Charter that will bring Ukraine up to world standards and will provide the opportunities to work in tandem with modern decisions and solutions. And lastly, I would like to say that there are problems with understanding among officials, the lack of understanding what open data is. But now they see that we should move forward and there won't be any return back. So the access to the information about procurement and also constant analysis of the decisions taken by officials and review of this decisions by the public, and also decisions about based on open data as to improvement of the work of the state structures also provide us with good grounds. So I wish us to have good work further. About civil servants, whom should we invite to our next round table? And we will be really grateful for the opportunities to speak. Dmitry tells us about contests in the region and people who work with open data. So Now we are going to speak about enthusiasts, donors, and people who contribute a lot of their time and effort in this open data project. And I asked Denis Gursky, the head of Incubator 1998. I would like to ask him about open data projects on the basis and about the areas of work that are popular now, the ideas people go to hackathon with, and the main problems participants face. Good afternoon, everyone. I believe that we have a celebration. I feel like during the wedding from the side of the bride. And I would like to greet the team, e-data team. I believe that this is one of the most important projects in e-data area, parallel with Prozora and Portal of Open Data. I believe that these projects form the environment in which the majority work. And there is such a notion of positive leadership, and I believe that these projects created positive leadership that also motivates smaller initiatives as open data boards and the mobile applications, websites that are based on open data. I would like to say that I saw a lot in open data sphere. I graduated from the university 10 years ago, and for 10 years I work, and 4 years from this 10 I devoted to open data. And I believe that this is really a lot, and it's time to have good experience. It's like an exam. So I not just run, I will fly, because everyone should learn new things. But in 4 years in Ukraine, many political changes happened in Ukraine, and these changes resulted in the fact that communities understood that Ukraine can solve its own problem due to IT instruments. These IT instruments, they cannot be created without state. And the experience of hackathons around the country proved that IT community really exists. It's active and it wants to solve problems, but it can solve these problems only in their own way with the use of IT instruments. If some people defend our independence at our borders, these people, they want to defend independence through IT instruments. These are services that help to identify potential corruption. Procurement and Prozora generate a lot of entries on procurement, but someone have to analyze this, and there is anti-corruption monitoring instrument that do this, and there is a service e-data, but this is a big database, and there is a 007 service that helps to analyze information and to make graphs, to visualize this information, and so on and so forth. And the same concerns the fines we pay, the information about the work of the parliament. We cannot analyze all this mess of data, but open data is important, but we should create the instruments based on open data. Moreover, by this, we touch upon the area of creating the services that the state proposes us. The state services are developed by the state through the tenders. The companies are hired that develop these services. The state decides what services are needed. This is not really correct, because people should decide the services they need. And second, the community can produce the services that are needed by itself, and the market as a competitive environment should decide what services are really needed and what are just the whim of several people. So we have electronic services on 1,200 up to 10,000 at local level. This is not normal. and the state local partnership and people say, do something about it, we can open data, and they propose a scanned sheet of paper. The system should work in the ways, for example, if I want to get data, the public servants should develop these documents, and they do it at the expense of taxpayers' money. And all the data that is in the state system, if they are not personal, if they are not secret, they should be open. The data should be open in the most structured way. This is information infrastructure that is the big component and that the state possesses, and I believe that Ukrainian state will be able to monetize the system and to earn from the system, and that would be interesting to IT specialists and will be good for state budget. And due to the support of the donors, many new initiatives will start in the sphere of open data, and the incubator 1991 will be promoted in the regions, and there will be grassroots initiatives working at the sphere, and it will lead that the services will appear not only on the all Ukrainian level, but also local grassroots levels services, and people want it to be so. And the last thing I wanted to say that this anniversary of e-data also coincided with the open data in the United States. The White House will celebrate 8 years, mark the day, and the President of the United States addressed the citizens, and he said that open data is the and provision of this data to the public is the most important achievement of Democratic Party, because this brings information services of the state and the work of the state bodies at the new level. So I hope that in 8 years we will also mark the anniversary of open data in the Ukraine, and there will be a person who will say that this will be one of the most important thing in the reforming the state. So I would like to ask a question. Denis, could you please tell us about maybe 1-2 areas in which there is interest to open data? So I will give you 2 examples that prove that this is not only anti-corruption, but also innovation and stimulating investment climate. So 2 services that were developed recently and based on open data. Agri-Eye service that combines information from spectral camera of the drone, that this information is temperature and humidity of the agricultural field, and they take agro passports from the Ministry of Agriculture, and this gives opportunity to understand what pesticides were introduced to the lands, and this is mobile application for Ukrainian farmers. It got $150,000 of venture investment at the end of spring this year. And one more service, Navizor service. They get information from the mobile phone users with accelerometer, and when there are bumps, they put it in the service, and they got more than 100,000 users of this application in Ukraine, and now this information is used by the Ministry of Infrastructure in order to plan their activity correctly, and logistics company that plan their routes and pay for the use of this analytical data. So now we come back to the most interesting part, to those people who write the projects based on the open data and try to combine information not disclosed by the ministry, and we ask to come here those whom we know very well, who work with e-data, and they really like us. So first, 007 system that integrates us with Prozoro at this moment, And I ask you to provide presentation. Natalia, you're welcome.
Мене звати Наталя Краш.
My name is Natalia Kravchenko, and I am project manager of Research Analytical System 007, and I would like to congratulate everyone with the anniversary of Open Data Project, and this project gave the start to the launch to our project of Research Analytical System 007. Thank you for your support. Let me introduce our project. This is a web service based on open data about public finance. Our mission is to provide civil society with the mechanism to monitor how the budget holders use taxpayers' money. We use open data and Prozora system, and with the help of cloud service, after 2 months of incubator 1991, we launched our portal, the Search Analytical Data System 007, joining open data and other registers data. We make useful data in order to get social effect by increasing corruption, thus by increasing transparency, thus decreasing corruption. Opening of public finance data, this is useful and necessary, which has been done with open data portal, and we are very thankful to this project, and civil society and communities need this indeed. More than 300 users research the expenditures of state-owned enterprises, and they can use our portal. You can find here expenditures of state-owned enterprises by geographic attributes such as village, town, or by the name of legal entity. You can find how much any entity spends in any region of Ukraine. Our exclusive service is a contextual search. You can see not only who spends taxpayers' money, but also what for they use money. You can see any services or products which they buy for taxpayers' money all over the country. So this is the opportunity to monitor expenditures at the entire territory of Ukraine and see details of the spending unit who made this payment and about the recipient of the funds, including telephone numbers and addresses. We decided to look into the problem of transparency in the governmental sector in detail and in a deep manner, and we also try to provide information about spending units, how they form their cabinets registered with open data portal. We provide information by 4 indicators for the entire country, for each region, for each district of the region, and each separate spending unit. All elements which provide indicators of filling the cabinet at open data portal. You can see whether they are registered and full dossier, what data have been provided to the portal. Also, Moreover, we try to make such information an applied one, and we provided a tool which will help civil society to press on state-owned enterprises and other budget holders. So when civil society can press them so that they register on open data portal. If the budget holder has not registered its cabinet or has not filled it sufficiently, then you can use the form of an appeal to an ombudsman, civil rights ombudsman. You just press the button and you will see the template of this claim to the address of Human Rights Ombudsman of Verkhovna Rada. So we would like to make also a gift to eData team and to give them the module of monitoring. As they are our partners, thank you very much for attention. Thank you very much for this surprise, for your gift to us. And now, on our agenda, we would like to give the floor to Vladimir. Because not only ITs and governmental bodies were stakeholders in this project, the law also was developed to this end. And here Vladimir represents the developers of the law, and there are also some problems with the implementation of the law. At the same time, political analytics have their own projects based on open data projects. So please, Vladimir, tell us about this. Olga, I would like to start with the draft amendments to this law. They have already been written, and the draft law number 5061 have already been submitted and registered. Yet there are some gaps to be filled in this law. There were several discussions about the law. We tried to consolidate them. I hope that most proposals were incorporated. By the date of first reading, we also should provide some additional comments. So what concerns open data services, I can see, I would like to say that our team is looks like some guerrillas. We try to persuade bureaucrats to open data to generate new contents, new quality of information for the civil society. I would like to thank the data team, the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Economic Development, and Prozora system, because they have turned into champions. They became champions. Without them, such services as our service would not be in existence, would not operate. Yesterday I visited the Ministry of Social Policy. They promised by the end of 2017 to provide access to their data, then we can generate new contents for the public. I would like to tell about the project which I have been working in for 2 years. This is open budget project. It convert the information from the budget into such format which is understandable for the public, general public. So with small modules, we partially resolve problems of public monitoring. We create infrastructure. We teach how to use these services. One of unique approaches is that all software products they are placed on self-government's websites. This demonstrates that political will is present with local self-governments getting dividends thus from civil society at the same time. Having developed some genius solution, you should you should make some efforts to communicate, to deliver it to the public. So this is a place where an ordinary person can find information. Our service is free of charge for governmental bodies, but it works like Capcan, like a trap. So civil servants, we request from them to publicize information at our website, both about their expenditures and about their use of our portal. We try to compile information from different databases. On geospatial maps, we place different layers, and by one click, when we have sewn this information together from Prozora, from the United Register of Enterprises, the right approach is for public to provide the opportunity by one click to see the facilities which are present in the vicinity where the taxpayers' money are spent, so that every person can understand how to benefit from those infrastructure facilities. As of today, more than 35 self-governments use visualizations, and the number has been increasing. The services are based on open data, and they should provide the value added to citizens and to civil servants as well. All of us work to make budget funds use more efficient. This would be possible if decision-making process is based on analytical statistics, which can be generated with the use of open data. You will be able to compare, for example, the open data of your city with some other city. This service can be made proactive. The budget calendar help to engage the communities to the budgeting process, including such flagman project, leader project. Denis Gursky also was involved in it. It has been completed in 3 or 5 cities. And indeed, we are getting ready to transfer to programmatic purpose approach on grassroots level to demonstrate the citizens what will be produced by spending budget money. What indicators, what benefits we will get from the spending of budget money by local self-governments. the services which generate added value and added content, they will be our future. They are promising, and before we transfer to drawing the paper, I would like to give the floor to Alexander. Tell us, please, about your work with open data. Thank you. My name is Mazin Alexander. I am director of ITT company. Unfortunately, we have been working with data only for 1 month and a half. We were developers of the web site of Journalist Investigations e-Data Club. Thank you for invitation to work with the Open Data Project for intensive and interesting work, our activities. When there is some anniversary, both a person or an entity summarizes achievements. So the tool which they have already generated to monitor budget spending. As an ordinary person, I can say that I have experience with risk management in banks and risk management in financial institutions, thanks to large number of data. They are still rather complicated in use, so they should be more user friendly. An ordinary person is interested in where the funds are spent. From this point of view, I would like to express my own opinion about the open data and their development in Ukraine. First, when I prepare I and my team, when we prepared to this conference, we tried to make some analytical data on the cost of food at schools, cost of studies per person, per citizen. We didn't get enough information to compile such analytics. So I would like to ask you to add budget classification codes and so on. The second issue, as the community representative, it would be interesting for me to use the data services so that I have the opportunity to register at the web portal where I will be verified and I can get data to create my own service, my analytical system, which will operate, and it will be in open access. So most IT community members would like to have the opportunity to use such data for creating their own services. Integration with statistical data services, yes, some efforts are done, but they should be integrated into one area of data where analyst can use. The third issue is to get feedback from members of public to add a service to the web portal, like a help desk which can process claims of the citizens, how to improve the service operations. And also I would like to congratulate the team of e-Data with their anniversary, with their birthday, and I hope for our our further fruitful cooperation. If Alexander Sholokov and his team would agree. Well, Alexander Sholokov can give some feedback now. You're welcome. Well, our model, it is cyclical model. Open data, from it we get useful data, and then we get social effect. 007 demonstrated that we integrate with legal companies and state governments. We would like to have the cases be addressed in the closed cycle, even if the problem has not been resolved, even if the government rejected to resolve the problem, this should be registered and this rejection should be demonstrated. Well, I will finalize our briefing, our conference. Prozora and the data, they really form such an open data, transparent landscape in Ukraine. And in terms of the vision of IT community, how they see this project, our country is good. We have good IT technologies and good IT specialists. Our internet is the most fastest in the world. Our IT experts work in the best world's companies, but at the same time we have this situation where 23 or 24 years this potential has not been used. So we have such a starting point when IT specialists and businesses and the governmental sector start to have some dialogue. IT specialists have learned how to live without the governmental bodies, but the country hasn't learned to live without IT specialists. So the cooperation, I hope, will become expanded and in deep between IT specialists and governmental bodies. IT community has been telling that listening to the news on TV and radio, they can, for example, hear some news, they look and they can see what does it mean open data. Then they get disappeared because the format of data is wrong and some other attributes are not good. And when you use again, they can hear data.gov.ua or other resources, other websites. They don't believe that this data is usable and of high quality. The number of budget holders, but not only the number of budget holders, but the high quality data should be provided, how the influence on economic sectors can be made. So the problem not invented here. We very often face such situations when experts come with already generated product or idea. They come to some governmental body, they say just use this software, take it and use it, adapting to your purposes. Well, they say we have been already developing our own service for 25 years, so nobody would like to take responsibility to forget to abandon the old service and to take responsibility for using the new service. Well, the members of IT community, the experts, they can invent very good services, but not that old software. The governmental body should learn how to outsource services. The experts should take part in developing, in testing of governmental websites and services, integration, feedback, improvement, iterating, development. When some biddings are conducted, we can see that TOR has been written by unknown person and of substandard quality. My personal opinion is that governmental bodies should abandon the practices of taking money from international institutions continuously on an ongoing basis when mass media deliver us the news that no governmental funds have been spent for some project. This means that the state bodies do not learn information practice, they best practice. They do not use the best practices. We don't know who conducted this development of electronics, the products. So far, governmental bodies, they do not understand how much can the development of some electronic system cost. So journalists, they also can't understand whether paying $100,000 for creation of some service, is this much, or is this a high amount or low amount for creation of some service? So IT specialists, businesses, and civil society, all of them should be stakeholders in this process. Thank you very much. Here is the end of our official part. Now Alexander will hand out the gifts, and then we will name the winners. The head of the jury is not present, unfortunately, but the members of jury, they will declare the winners of our competition. You are welcome, Alexander.
Так. IT-team.
So the colleagues that we so we have good results, and the center, ADA Center, people who inspired us, please. And we have here also the institute that was the first one who organized training for holders, and due to the Institute of Budget and Social Policy, we were able to get first registration. and also to the Treasury. So these are honorable people. So thank you very much. So we will announce the results of the contest. Before this, I will tell about this contest. So investigative journalism contests are usually about professionals, mainly from the capital of the country, and we decided to start new tradition because many regional journalists work with open data, not only journalists but also public activists that carry out their own investigations that are of quality. And when we announced the contest, we introduced one more area of for volunteers with active civil position, and also there was a contest of for people, and people could support their contestants by putting likes. So now we will announce this results of this contest, and the Eastern Europe Fund provided the prizes, and the winners will get considerable financial awards, and they can be supported by this money. So from whom are we going to start? So we had 3 members of the jury, and Alexander Negeshev is also the member of this jury. Dear colleagues, good afternoon. I would like to tell several words because we have time limits. Ukraine Crisis Media Center was the communication partner, and this is a great honor for us because we support such initiatives. And for me personally, that was not a surprise, but it was very pleasant to read these materials because in the majority they were about the problems, local problems, schools, roads, financing of local programs. This is really great because by your publications and investigations, you inform people not about only just Kievan events, but also about the events at regional level. I would like to say that a month ago, together with Olga, we delivered training together with Prozora in Severodonetsk, and it was really great. And in a month, people phoned and say, please bring presentations. We will search who stole our money for windows and why we don't have roads. So we were really interested in this, and you, by your publications locally, you can be such instructors to motivate people to control power. This is the change of life paradigm when people feel they are in control, that they have instruments how to do this, the changes will start. So we go to the official part of our ceremony, the nomination, the watchdog of investigation. The diploma is provided. The third, Evgen Veselenko is awarded the third prize. For second place in nomination, civil control, Oleg Dyorka is awarded. And first prize of the competition is provided to Dmitry Simchenko. And I give the floor to my colleagues from the jury. Good afternoon. I would like to add, technically, I paid attention 80% of this works. Despite this is the work of original journalists or activists, people use e-data as a daily instrument 10 years ago, we started to work in journalism, and we started with the site of state statistics. It was a daily instrument, and now this daily instrument is e-data. More information, more opportunities it provides, and it is pleasant that people start to use it daily. So the prize of readers, third place Dmitry Sinchenko. Let's applaud. Second place Maria Kulchitska. And first Oleg Dyorka. This is his second nomination. Thank you. Good afternoon. I am pleased to greet all the participants of the contest. It's pleasant for me to remind that the agency I represent has its credo as publicity and transparency in relationship with investors and on the whole in the economic sphere. So transparency in finances was supported by us as partner of the project, as the developer of methodology of this contest. And I'm really glad to present the third nomination. And for me personally, I would like to say that it was really difficult for me to choose, according to the rating, who should be nominated the winner. So I used even the smallest numbers, so the results. This is subjective assessment of the jury. The third place in journalist investigation of e-investigation is awarded to Valentina Kutz. Second place is given to Ina Popovich. And the first place, the winner of e-investigation, Gleb Kanevsky, and we greet him with his victory.
Тепер закінчилися вже навіть смачні печеньки. Я дуже дякую членам журі.
Thank you very much. Thank you all participants. They will all get their diplomas, and please join and take part in this competition. We thank our partners of the Eastern Europe Fund for the support of this enthusiasm, and we ask everyone to put their signatures on our banner, and then the official part will be over. Thank you.